Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Carrie, the nosy housefrau. Today I'm sticking my nose in on the hot topic of Jaclyn Glenn's most recent video, Why I Spoke Out About Eugenia. So let's just jump right in there.
I hear you. I feel what you guys are feeling in the comments. I had a lot of the same thoughts myself, and I want to elaborate on why I did the things that I did in this video.
Jaclyn was apparently getting a lot of hate for exposing Eugenia and giving out painful personal details. She said she agrees with some of the criticism, although she doesn't say which, but she wanted to respond, and so she does, by sharing more painful personal details.
The first criticism I seem to see is that I made information public that I should not have. While I did say things that were unknown before, in the broader sense of her getting help, that's public now. Shane made a video for millions to see.
I think we know there's a big difference between what Shane made public and what Jaclyn made public, but don't take my word for it. Ask Eugenia which one was upsetting. When I made my first video on Jaclyn's video about Eugenia, I had more mixed feelings than I do now, I think. Although the timing of her video was poor in my opinion, I did feel wholeheartedly that Jaclyn's heart was in the right place. I pinned a paragraph at the top of the comments under my video that I had forgotten to record. Shady Pines, here I come. But I'll read it for you now because it's a good lead-in to my feelings on this current video of Jaclyn's. And it goes, I know that Jaclyn's heart was in the right place, and it's sad how much hate she's going to get for this, in part because some dumb people will automatically polarize and create a false dichotomy between her video and Shane's. Without question, Jaclyn was part of a life-saving intervention. No one can deny that. That brought tears to my eyes, and I have never liked her more. But my satisfaction at knowing the truth, anyone's satisfaction, shouldn't come before Eugenia's recovery. The timing of this was not in her best interest, and even though Eugenia may have thanked Jaclyn one day for forcing her into recovery and saving her life, I doubt she will ever thank her for publicly painting her beloved mother in such a poor light. When you share something as personal and painful as someone's relationship with their mother, even when you're right, you're going to be wrong. Now, the first thing opposing opinions will say is that Eugenia's mother should be exposed when Eugenia's life is in danger. And in fact, Jaclyn says that is precisely why she made her video. She wanted the focus to be on Eugenia's mother.
Do I want to let her have this moment and be happy and feel good about herself? Yes, with all of my heart. Yes, I do. But do I want her mom to have a moment when people aren't looking at her? A moment where the attention is away from her? Do I want to give her a moment to feel like she got away with it? No.
But I have a couple of problems with this. I don't see why this needed to be so public, particularly when Jaclyn was in communication with Kati Morton, who she knew was close to the situation. It wasn't clear to me why Jaclyn couldn't find out about Eugenia's therapy and whether or not the professionals were alerted to the situation and monitoring her. She could have found out if they were in family therapy. That brings me to the other issue I had. Jaclyn was lamenting that Kati was in Shane's video. She explained right up front that she got the information about intervention from Kati. She credits her and says Kati was instrumental in making it happen.
And I also want people to know that these are not rash decisions that I made on my own. This is something that I had people around me for, also weighing the pros and cons. I had, for the intervention, I had Frank, I had Eva, I had myself, I had David, and I had Kati Morton. She wasn't there for the intervention, but I was at such a loss as for what to do. I tried calling the police, they couldn't do anything. I tried calling mental health professionals, they couldn't do anything because they're not law enforcement and can't forcibly enter a home. So the only option I had, which I didn't know until talking to Kati, was to convince her in any way that I could to be at my place so that I could legally let mental health professionals in to help. I had conversations on the phone with Kati, I had emails back and forth with her. So to be honest, her involvement with Shane's video is a little confusing to me because she knows the darkest details of that home.
What is the implication of saying you don't know why she was in it? That does two things. It makes Kati look like she's playing both sides of the fence or is being insincere in some way. And the other thing it does is make Jaclyn confirm people's suspicion that she was unhappy about being left out of the spotlight of Shane's video. I'm willing to give Jaclyn the benefit of the doubt on the latter, but I don't think she was fair with Kati. Correct me if I'm right, but why shouldn't Kati be a consultant for Shane just because she was communicating with Jaclyn about the same thing? Was she supposed to mention and thank Jaclyn? I see no conflict of interest or disloyalty there. She was just on the periphery of the interview, sharing her expertise. Speaking of her expertise, I have to correct myself for calling her a psychologist. She does not call herself a psychologist, although she does have a BA and a master's in psychology and is experienced with EDs. We're going to use code. These days, you need a doctorate to call yourself a psychologist, and credit goes to Tabitha Walker for setting me straight on the facts. I was mistaken in calling her psychologist, but as Kurt Cobain, the illustrious Kurt Cobain, once said, I learn something new every day, and I forget 5 other things forever. I really live by that Kurt Cobain quote. It's so powerful. This is really a tough one for me, and I thought about just leaving it alone since I like Jaclyn. And I know I'll be demonetized, that's code, in seconds of posting this, so it would be easier to just say I said what I said and walk away. But what ultimately caused me to want to chime in is that I feel it's important to note a few things. I believe Eugenia is in a place where she is likely to be much more humiliated and upset by her personal life being made public than the average person would be. And I do not see the benefit of painting her mother as an evil witch who keeps Eugenia locked in a tower. That actually occurred to me, and then I started seeing those exact references posted online. It's very easy for Jaclyn to say, get out of that house. But that means throw away your family. It's not that simple. Those roots run deep. And illness does not diminish love. I believe Eugenia's mother needs help, and we don't know that she's not getting it. There have been parents who yell at their children, in bad shape by the way, as they are going into these ED clinics because they feel the child is abandoning them. Now that makes no sense to us, but that is illness, and it's part of a family dysfunction. It's also none of our business. But Jaclyn made my point best when she said,
and that's why I think it's important that we don't brush everything under the rug and assume she's better because she smiled on the internet and said she's better.
That's right, but we should believe our eyes. She is empirically, visibly, much healthier than she was. I would have waited until I saw signs of regression, because if that happens, those signs will appear very quickly. I don't think anything positive can come of Eugenia seeing the landslide of hate towards her mother. She may blame herself for not being able to please her mother. It will stress her out and cause her to feel even less control. Why couldn't this have waited? Jaclyn said she made this video to explain some things to people, to answer some of the questions. Well, that only serves to make Jaclyn feel better about what people believe about her. I hope she stops now and moves on as she said she would. To me, Jaclyn will always be the person who saved Eugenia's life when it was truly in peril. I'm convinced of that. And in trying to empathize with Jaclyn more, it has occurred to me she is traumatized by that intervention itself. Truly traumatized. So let's look at that. I think she's having trouble shaking it off. And I hope she talks to someone in private to reconcile her role in that. It has stuck with her. And perhaps that is why she felt a need to reach out and be understood. She made a tough decision that played out in a frightening way right in her home. She lost a friend in the process, and now is getting hate for talking about it. Ultimately, my feeling is, even after her video, I don't agree with Jaclyn's decision to make this public at this time. In fact, I agree with it less having been a passenger on a bus that ran over Kati Morton. But I know Jaclyn's a good person, and I'm hopeful that someday she'll see the timing of this wasn't quite right. Please don't send her any hate. No one is a winner here. But let's hope all parties are thriving in the months to come. If you've listened this far, I so appreciate you. So, what do you think? Should Jaclyn have made that video? Did it sway your opinion one way or the other? As always, I look forward to your input, and I read every single comment. And I do invite newcomers to consider the possibility of subscribing to my channel. Mama needs a new roof, and a slice of revenge to upset some very mean people who would hate to see me live well. Either way, thank you for your view from the bottom of my Hausfrau heart. Until next time, take care.